YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, all you guys. What's going on, baby? We got a 2015 GMC Yukon in the shop today that we're going to be doing a full transmission removal and install on. So y'all stay tuned for this video. It's going to be a good, educational video. And I'm going to be learning some stuff in the process too. I've removed and installed tons of transmissions in my career, but these transmissions are getting, a little smarter and a little harder to deal with as the years go on. So on this particular model, and I didn't know this until recently, of course, after everything was bought and paid for, but so on the 2015s, and I can't speak for other models because this is the only one I know of, but it's probably gonna the newer models probably do this too, but this is a 2015. So once we get the old transmission out and we get the new transmission in, we will have to flash the TCM. Now, apparently on this year model, GM decided to stick the TCM inside the transmission. So it's not serviceable, really. It's not something it's not, the TCM is not mounted anywhere on the firewall or on the fan shroud, anything like that, like it would be on heavier duty trucks or Allisons and things of that nature. Like I said, from what I understand, this transmission is this TCM is located inside the trans somewhere. So, that being said, we are going to have to put the transmission in, and then most likely take it over to GM to have the programming done. So we have a Drasper unit here that we're going to be putting in this Yukon, and really wanted to make a video about it. I know I haven't posted in a while. Forgive me. I think for all you YouTube guys that watch my videos, last time I was in my garage working, using my garage as a shop, and so now I'm actually in my shop. I got a new shop, so it's been a long time coming, but I've had to get it all together and stuff like that. So you guys bear with me, man. But yeah, that's the job for today. We're gonna try and knock it out today because I have an appointment with GM on Tuesday to try and flash this thing. So we're gonna get right into it. So first things first that you're gonna wanna do. Now, obviously I have a shop here, I have a lift. For those of you who don't have a lift, this job is possible without a lift, but obviously having a lift makes it a lot easier. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to show you guys how to do this, on a lift, but you guys can figure it out from there if you don't have a lift, but it is possible to do it without, a lift. But first things first, we're gonna wanna do is disconnect the driver's side or the passenger side battery cables. You really just need to disconnect either the positive or the negative. We're going to disconnect the negative on this one. The reason why we need to disconnect the battery is because when we go to pull the trans, we're going to need to pull the starter to access the torque converter bolts. And so yeah, we don't want to arc anything once we start touching on that starter. So first things first, get your negative off the battery, and then we're going to go ahead and lift this truck up in the air. Okay guys, so like I said earlier, we are gonna attack this negative battery cable over here on the battery. So as you can see, it's right here. It's just a 10 millimeter. Go ahead and loosen that up, and then get the battery cable off the battery so that we're not arcing shit down there at the starter. Okay, so battery cable's off, and we're good to go ahead and lift the truck. Okay guys, so have the battery disconnected, got the truck in the air. Obviously here's the trans, and as many of you probably already know, GM and a lot of other companies are notorious for not putting fucking plugs on their transmissions anymore. They used to all the time. Now for some reason they just don't want you draining the fluid out of these things. So probably gonna have to remove the pan, drop the pan down a little bit to get the fluid out of it, but no worries, we can tackle that at another time part of this video. But for now, first course of action, now that we've got the trans in the air, is to remove the drive line. So let's get the drive line out. There are 4 11 millimeter bolts that hold these drive line straps on. So 2 here, 2 here. Once you get those 11 millimeter strap bolts out, you will be able to pull your drive line straight out of the rear of the trans, no problem. So let's go ahead and get that out. Okay, so once you guys get them broke loose, you can just take a little ratcheting wrench, 11mm ratcheting wrench, come over here and start taking them all the way out. Just like that. You guys just watched me take the drive line out. I think from here, before we go too crazy and start, you know, taking too much apart, I'm gonna go ahead and take the pan down at least a little bit, let it come down a little bit and drain some of the fluid out, because it's gonna be harder once the transmission's loose to do this. So while it's, you know, still in the truck and while the pan's obviously facing the floor, let's go ahead, before we put a trans jack under it and start removing, let's go ahead and drain it. You're gonna have all these 10mm bolts around the pan. You're gonna need to loosen pretty much all of them, but you wanna take out at least a good section of the side ones, the front, and then the other side. You can leave pretty much the back ones in unless you just want to fully remove the pan, but we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna drop it down enough to obviously get most of the fluid out of this thing. Since they don't wanna provide us with a drain plug, this is the best I'm gonna be able to do, because I don't have a roll around drain thing, unfortunately. So this is just going to be a little bit of a pain on me, but not a big deal. We'll get her drained, and yeah, we're going to start taking off these 10mm bolts around the pan just to get some out. Let's go. Okay guys, so we've clearly got some of it draining out already into my drain bucket here, filled with fucking nasty coolant. But regardless, as you guys can see already, I'll get a light so I can show you a little better. One sec. Okay, so we're back. You can see already how dark this fluid is, how burnt and nasty it is. This is why this transmission failed, due to lack of maintenance. But regardless, I just wanted you guys to see, you know, this is what bad transmission fluid looks like. And if yours looks like this, I wouldn't bother changing it out now. You know, it's time to start thinking about saving up for a trans at this point. But there you go, guys. That's what burnt transmission fluid looks like. So hope to God yours doesn't look like this, or you'll be doing this pretty soon as well. This is why I fucking hate transmissions without fucking drain plugs. They always make a mess. It's like unavoidable. But we got a lot of it drained. Get my camera in there, stick it in there, and show you guys how fucking nasty this is. Oh, you can't really see anything because the filter. But it's nasty in there. Golly, look at that valve body. Just fucking brown. Oh, fluid's brown. Everything's fucking brown. But we're coming along. Okay, so I got the pan out, and as you can see, you know, just dark fluid. See if I can't. So transmission fluid is supposed to be like pink in color, and I've already done this once on this piece of paper, but as you can see, That is not pink, nor red, nor fucking anything of the specified color. That is nothing about it. That is completely brown, burnt as fuck. See it more than I'd like to see it, but yeah. So if your transmission fluid looks anything like that, do not even bother trying to drain it and put new fluid in it. Sorry, the camera died on me, but what I was saying was, do not, if your transmission fluid is that dark, looks that bad, and it smells burnt, do not even try and put new fluid in it. Do not try and do a flush. Don't try and do anything, because you will end up fucking up the transmission even more. Reason why is because all that clutch material that is now worn off the clutches and sitting in that fluid is actually helping you shift. Without it, there goes your clutch fluid. There goes your material that was helping you shift. So don't even bother trying to change it out. You just really need to better start biting the bullet and start shopping around for a transmission. Waiting on a call. That's kind of why I'm staggering here, but either way, we're making progress, baby. I ain't too worried about it. We'll have it out in the next few hours, so not too worried about it, but yeah, we're coming along. Okay, guys, so got the floor all cleaned up and got my pan back on. Obviously, for those of you who already know this, pay no attention, but for those of you who don't, the reason why we had to remove the pan was to drain the fluid. I think I expressed that in my last segment, but regardless, trans companies, Jasper, anybody who builds you a trans is going to want you to send the core back empty. Sometimes they even want you to go as far as pulling the torque converter out and draining the torque converter too, but that comes with a whole other list of issues that we don't really want to mess with. But long story short, had to drain the pan, so there's no plug, had to pull it. So now that we've got the pan drained and everything's pretty much back on up there, we're going to start removing this starter. First, before we get to the starter, let's get this big ass splash shield out of the way. Looks like we got a 15 there, a 15 there, 15 here, 15 here, and 15 here. I don't know, those aren't even connected. Okay, so then you got 2, 3, 4 10 millimeters. So looks like a total of 2, 4, 6 15 millimeter, 6 15 millimeter bolts and 4 10 millimeter bolts that hold this splash shield on. You want this out of the way just because it'll kind of give you a little more access to your starter up here. Forgive the lighting. I will get you guys some better lighting as I get this shield off, but go ahead, get the shield off and I'll be back. I actually lied to you guys. It's 4 15 millimeter bolts and 4 10 millimeter bolts. The other two 15s stay up there. Let's see why. So those other two are for right here. So you can see how much that splash shield really opened shit up. And now we can come over here to our starter. As you can see, starter's right here. It's got this big little like bulb. I guess it's to protect the electrical connector up there that sits right there. But we need to get that electrical connector off, and then once we get that electrical connector off, start getting the post off the starter right up there. And then it looks like you have two 13 millimeter bolts that hold the starter up. This is just like the older Chevrolets too. I remember the old Chevrolets used the same, pretty much same setup. So yeah, go ahead and get your electrical connector off your starter, pull the terminals off, and get your starter out. Okay guys, so we got that electrical connector off. Obviously, as you guys can see, there's a little red locking tab. You will need to use a pick, like a 90-degree pick, something of this nature. Get that red unlock tab, push down, up, however you guys need to do it. And then it will obviously come dislodged from its little home right here. So now it looks like there's a 13 millimeter nut right here holding on this cable. So we're gonna get that cable off the starter and then start pulling the starter, because it doesn't look like there's another one. Just looks like one cable and one connector. So get that 13 millimeter nut off there. I believe it's a 13, and then start working your 2 bottom bolts out of the starter. Got the as you can see, right here, I've got my cable off the starter. What I want to show you guys now is I didn't even see this until just now, but right here, you can see right here my finger is pointing to a 10mm bolt. This is a heat shield. This 10mm bolt is holding this heat shield to the starter. You're gonna need to get that 10mm bolt out. Then you can come down here to your two bottom 13mm and pull your starter completely out, it looks like. So let's do that right now. Okay guys, so you guys can see, got the starter out. You guys be fucking careful getting this bolt out closest to the block, this one right here, because that's a motherfucker. It's not so hard that it's not like it doesn't want to come out or anything, but you have a little plate right here, a little plastic plate that keeps debris from going in the trans. There's a 10mm bolt here that keeps that plate on. Your socket will get stuck. Ask me how I know, because mine did, and it kind of fucked off the hole up there, as you can see, but regardless, it came out. But it can be a bitch if you know, don't know what you're doing. So up here I can already see one torque converter bolt. Kind of hard for you guys to see it, I'm sure, but I'm going to take the next step after you get your starter out is take this inspection cover off the bottom of your trans, and we're going to start turning this transmission over and start taking out these torque converter bolts. And I believe there's only 3. I say that because I've done transmissions on older Chevys and there was only 3. I say that also because in this kit that you get with your new Jasper trans, it looks like they give you 3 new torque converter bolts. So along with a gasket and stuff like that. But so I believe there's only 3 torque converter bolts. That's what I'm going with. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get that inspection plate off and start removing those torque converter bolts. To get this inspection plate off, you just need a little mini screwdriver or a flathead of some sort, and I'll show you. So I come over here to my little mini screwdrivers. I like this little pry bar one, and let's see, just get it in there and bam. Well, I know you guys probably didn't see that because I just sucked at filming. Let me show you again. So it sits in there kind of like so. Okay, just like that. You're gonna take your pocket screwdriver and you're just gonna pop it out. And as you can see, there is the flywheel right there. Let's get some light. Okay, there we go. Now you can see there's the flywheel teeth. So we're gonna take a screwdriver, a bigger screwdriver than this one, and we're gonna turn, maybe even a little pry bar, but we're gonna turn the flywheel until we have some of these torque converter bolts exposed. So you guys stay tuned for that. Okay guys, so now see, got our little mini pry bar. It's like literally not very big at all, and you're gonna just see how I'm slowly turning that flywheel. And as you slowly turn the flywheel, you will start to see your torque converter bolts a little better. So I'm going to use the camera to kind of show you. It's kind of hard to do both at the same time. But as we rotate this flywheel, you are going up. There it is. See? There's one of our torque converter bolts. And we need to get that bolt out so that we can separate the torque converter from the flywheel. And I believe those are going to be 13s or 15s. No, I'm going to go with 15. So sorry I put my headlight on just so I could have some extra light and to show you guys a little bit extra because my lighting in here is a little poor. But yeah, so we've already shown you one. Rather than, you know, show you all 3, I'm just going to go ahead and start knocking them out, getting them out. But all you guys want to do is, you know, slowly turn that flywheel enough to, you know, get all your torque converter bolts out. So we're going to do that now. Okay guys, so I've already gotten one of the bolts out, but just to kind of give you guys an idea of how I'm doing this, right? So as you can see, I've got my little Milwaukee Impact shoved up here, and all I'm doing, it fits just fine. I got a wobble and a 15mm socket, and you're just gonna kind of slipping, but and there we are, and they'll come right out. So if you can get a little impact in there, that helps a bunch. And there's your bolt. There's your torque converter bolt. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this last one out. That was number 2. Get this last one out and I'll be right back. So we've got all 3 torque converter bolts out. So now that that's done, we're probably gonna go ahead and get down to the heavy duty part of this, which we're gonna get our trans jack. We're gonna put it under here. Okay, if you're at home doing this job, you know, obviously you'll need a trans jack, something like this, you know, something low profile, something that'll fit under the truck, no problem. But yeah, you would use something like that. We're gonna use our big boy over here, and we're gonna have to set it on our trans jack. But I only say all that to say this. So we're gonna put the trans jack under it, get the, you know, take some of the weight off of the cross member here. And yeah, once we get the weight off, we're gonna start removing this cross member. And that's pretty much, you know, oh, and the exhaust. The exhaust is gonna be in our way. So you have 3 bolts on your exhaust flanges, 3 nuts, if you will. There's 2, and then, sorry, kind of dropped you there. And then there's another one right here. Where'd it go? Right there. So 2 up top, 1 at the bottom, and I believe it's like that. Yeah, so pretty much both sides are like that. And yeah, once you get the cross member out, once you get this out and the weight of your trans is sitting on your jack, then we're gonna, you know, try and loosen this up. We may have to remove it completely. I hope we don't, but that very well may be. I think we are, honestly. I think we are gonna have to remove it completely. I don't think dropping it, even if we drop it from the flanges, I don't think it's gonna give us enough room to get the trans completely out, but we'll see. I'll keep you updated on that. But yeah, we're gonna start getting this cross member out. Looks like you got 2 21mm bolts here and 2 on this side. Keep in mind, guys, once you get this out and you have the weight of the trans sitting on the jack, you're gonna wanna lower it just a tad bit, just a tad, not much, but you're gonna wanna start attacking, you know, your harnesses and your O2 sensor clips all up here, and start getting those, you know, unhooked, so that when you come down with the transmission, you're not pulling on any of the harnesses or any of that good stuff. So we're gonna start tackling that. Let me figure out a good place to put my camera. Guys, I also apologize for how I'm having to film this. So obviously I'm using my GoPro, but I don't have a very big tripod, and that obviously makes a difference. So I can't like stand it up like right here, eye level with me. So just bear with me. I'm having to find camera angles to show you guys all this stuff, but I'm trying my best over here. So yeah, we're gonna attack this cross member, get it out of the way, and then it'll be time to start, you know, working on that trans, getting it out. So I will be back. So one more thing I forgot to mention that I want to shed some light on right now. Before you know, get too far into this, before you even slide your transmission jack under the trans, go ahead and get this plate removed. You've got a 10mm bolt right here and another one right there. So 2 10s hold this heat shield on. You're gonna wanna take it off because obviously it's, you know, covering up the dipstick tube. We're gonna need to get the dipstick tube removed out of the trans. Also, your breather tube is kinda tucked behind the wiring harness up here and stuff like that. So you just wanna get a 10mm and start taking these out. Just like so. All right, let's see if we can, oh, one-handed, hell yeah. So now, as you can see, with the plate removed, we have access now to the harness here. We can get it unclipped and unzip tied from the trans, get the trans dipstick tube pushed out, and start working this motherfucker out. I'll be back. Okay guys, so I actually had to lower the truck on the lift a little bit to get my piece of shit trans jack to work, to meet it, because my trans jack doesn't go up that high. But anyways, wanted to show you guys something real quick. So I've got my 2 bolts out on each side, again 21mm, and then up here you're gonna have your trans mount nut. It's already gone, I already took it off, but before you remove this completely, go ahead and, this is your breather tube that sits on the trans. Open up that clip, use a little pocket screwdriver, open that bitch up, and then tuck that hose somewhere else, because this cross member is about to come down. Let's see if we can't Okay, it's coming a little bit. Let's get a pry bar. Just get you a small pry bar and start working this cross member out. And it's gonna fall here in a minute. And there it went. So no more cross member. Okay, now that we have the trans supported, we need to go ahead and start dropping this exhaust down a tad bit, because like I said, it's in our fucking way. So go ahead, and you see these O2 sensors right here, how the harness, it comes up and it's feeding right there. Get some light on it for you. Yeah, so right here is your O2 plug. Kind of hard to see. I apologize. I'm having to do this with a headlight. Again, wished my lighting in here was better. But yeah, we're gonna have to drop that exhaust down. Start with your flange bolts up there, the 3 on each side, and we may even have to disconnect it here at this little fitting here. Because again, I don't know if this is gonna be so much in our way that we can't get it out, or we might be able to, I don't know. But I'll let you guys know here shortly. Also guys, I just realized this, but this is gonna be probably a 2-part video, just because of how much information and how much shit is kind of involved here. It's actually not that big of a job, but when you're recording it, it just takes even longer. So probably gonna make this a 2-part video. Also, I forgot to mention, we are also putting a cooler in this. The trans cooler. A trans cooler in this truck, it's incorporated into the radiator. So this truck will be getting a new radiator. And for those of you who say, well, why don't you flush it? Because flushing is only, you know, it's just that. It's only as good as you know, the guy flushing it. And to be honest with you, once you've had a transmission fail, it's not good. It's not really good practice to try and flush them. You know, you don't want issues down the road. You know, you don't want to have dirt and debris from the cooler that you weren't able to get out, circulating back into your new trans. So we're going to, excuse me, we're going to just replace the cooler rather than to worry about flushing it and all that shit. We will flush the lines, and I'll show you what I'm going to use for that. Shout out to my boy Roman at Dodge, who showed me this shit, because I've used it in the past because of him, and it works pretty good. So we are going to use this. It's called Cooler Clean for transmissions. We're going to use this on the lines. Again, we're not going to be doing this on the actual cooler itself, but we are going to do it on the line. So that's that. Going to make this a 2-part video most likely. Okay guys, we're back. I'm going to start removing this exhaust. So you have 2 T40s right here that are holding the transmission cable to the transmission. So if you want, take like a little trim tool, go ahead and pop off your trans shift cable, and then start removing these start removing these T40 bolts out of this little bracket here. And you can also take it off here, but regardless, this bracket's gonna have to come off to put on the new one. So we're just gonna go ahead and take it off here. Don't do what I just did right there. That is a very good way to round out a bolt, or round out the inside of the bolt. The only reason I did that was to show you guys, because I'm filming with my other hand. But bad idea, don't do that. So then we're just gonna take our shift cable and let it kind of sit there out of the way. Let me clean my lens off real quick for you guys, because it's a little dirty. But yeah, so that's out of the way. We also need to remove our little shift lever here for our cable, because that's going to go on the new transmission. And we need to get this bracket off, a little 10mm bolt here. And then as you can see, there's a 13mm bolt here that holds your cooler lines to the trans. So we're going to need to get that off. As you can see, here's my upstream, my top O2 sensor. And then here's my bottom one right here. It goes right there. So we're gonna do the other side, get this off, get these brackets off, and start trying to get this exhaust out of the way, because it's definitely in our fucking way. So once I get all my sensors and shit disconnected, that will be the next step, is removing this exhaust. Okay guys, so as you can see, I just moved my trans jack out of the way because it was kind of, like I said, it was in the way. And all I got right now is a pole jack supporting the weight of, oop, damn, just nailed the fuck out of my GoPro. So I've got the weight of the trans sitting on the pole jack. Reason I did that was because I needed to get these bolts, these nuts loose off the exhaust, and the trans jack was kind of in my way. So what I did, guys, first thing you want to do when you're doing something like this is spray all of your exhaust nuts with WD-40 or some kind of penetrating oil. Get that rust broken up, and then start obviously breaking them loose. I broke mine loose with a 15mm socket, basically. So a 15mm socket on a wobble and a very long extension like this one right here. And I broke them loose by hand first. Now I'm gonna go in there with my ratchet and ratchet them out and get that out. And then also need to loosen this exhaust bolt too, to get this all loose and hopefully get this get the exhaust to slide out, you know, relatively easily. So yeah, let's get that out. I'm gonna go ahead and zip all 6 nuts off just because they're already loose. And yeah, then hopefully the next step me showing you will be the exhaust is out of this motherfucker. Okay guys, so I've got some good news for those of you who are doing this at home. You don't actually, it's looking like you're not gonna have to remove this whole section of exhaust and pull it out. Obviously it will make the job easier if you do, but since I have a lift, you know, it's not looking like I'm gonna have to. But as you can see, got my cooler lines already pulled off, got my O2 sensors on, my shit disconnected, dropped the exhaust down. Clearly, as you can tell, it's dropped down on both sides. So now we're gonna stick our tranny jack back under it, get this pole jack out of the way, and we are gonna start taking our bell housing bolts out and getting this transmission out. While I'm looking at it and thinking about it, don't forget to remove this mount that goes through the cross member. Get it out of your way because it will need to go on the new trans. And once this trans is on the ground, you don't really want to have to pick it back up for anything else. So yeah, we're pretty much on our way out with it. So up here, you know, obviously you're gonna have some stuff to kind of take out. So right here, this is your breather tube that was in that little white clip hanging in the on the back of that cross member we removed. It's held on by a zip tie right here, and obviously kind of goes up and held on by some more shit up there. You're probably not gonna have to remove this whole tube. To be quite honest with you, you can probably get away with just squeezing these little nipples together like so, like I'm doing with my fingers, and then pushing it up. Let's see if I can get it out with one. Okay, there it goes. So bam, we already have our vent tube out hanging off to the side here. So you saw how I did that. Bring your harness over if you want, just kind of get it out of your way. But yeah, we're literally on our way out with this thing. So you guys just bear with me here, and the next clip, hopefully I show you it's sitting on my trans jack and not in this fucking truck anymore. So let's go ahead and get her out. You will need to take this completely out. I was hoping that we could just drop the front section of it enough and then be able to drop the trans, but unfortunately the back part of the trans hits the exhaust when you're coming down. But as you can see, we've got her out. It almost looks like a small Allison, to be quite honest with you. But you know, it's obviously GM, so why wouldn't it, right? But yeah, we got her out. Just keep in mind, the fuck is that? Little rock? Keep in mind that yeah, you will need to take this out, and I'll show you the bottom side here. So here's what we're looking at, and of course you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bell housing bolts. And guys, I will be honest with you, spray the fuck out of your dowel pins here. Spray them with WD-40 or any kind of penetrating oil you have, because I just fought this transmission coming out. I had all my bell housing bolts out and the bitch just was stuck to this fucking engine. And I have reason to believe that it was these rusted ass fucking dowel pins. So just spray those too. And you should be good as far as sliding the old trans out. But yeah, here's our new Jasper. We're gonna get, I just bought a fucking $8,000 goddamn, Lord pardon my French, sleep number bed. So I'm probably gonna head home and, you know, take a look at my new fucking bed. Because I haven't been sleeping where the fuck. And my old mattress was just trash. But anyways, we got her out. So it's probably gonna just be part one, you know, GMC Yukon 2015 two-wheel drive transmission removal, and then I will make another one for installation. But yeah, we got her out, she's there, and we've already got our new one, so we're good to go there. Let me show you guys real quick while I'm thinking about it. So over here, this is what Jasper and I guess GM recommend to go back in with, this synthetic Mobil 1 synthetic LV ATF HP. And here it is. Where's the part number? I don't know if there is a part number. Yeah, I'm not seeing one. But this is what you're gonna need. Maybe that's it right there. I don't fucking know. What is that? 20 Alpha 2423. I don't know. Yeah, you guys can look it up, but basically this is it. And I've noticed that this fluid comes in a black label and a blue label. I don't think there's a difference between the fluids, so as long as you get synthetic LV ATF HP, should be good. And then here's our new radiator slash cooler that we'll be putting in this thing. But yeah, so that's it guys for this. I appreciate you guys watching. Please like, subscribe, do all that good shit you can, because I need it, baby. I need my views to go up. Forgive me for not being as active as I have been, but I've just been going through a lot of shit, you know, moving shops and shit, and then just obviously beds and, you know, you fucking name it. A little thing called life. But anyways, you guys stay tuned, because part 2 will be coming up in the next day or two. Still waiting on a buddy of mine to see if he can come help me tune this thing or program it when we get the new one in, so I don't have to tow it to the dealer. But yeah, y'all stay tuned. Love y'all. Dukes Diesel's out. Like, subscribe, hit that share button, baby. Y'all be good now.